Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, your number one source for income-oriented investing. Time to do another monthly portfolio unveil video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Adrian. This channel focuses on income-oriented investing, but we don't just talk the talk here, we walk the walk, because I unveil to you my entire portfolio from A to Z. So if you're new here, first thing we're going to do is look at a bird's eye view of the total value in Canadian dollars. You have it right in front of you. This is a tool called Passive that I use to view my portfolio. You could view several accounts all in one place. Very, very convenient in case you're managing like your wife's accounts and other member family accounts as well. And you could see the grand total here. This is the combination of all three of our investing accounts combined. My TFSA, Erica's TFSA, and our joint cash account or joint non-registered account. And by the way, I'm filming this on September 11th. Just for context, while the market is still live, so what I'll do is I'll refresh. You could see here that the amounts are changing because the market is still live, right? So it's going to change all the time. And by the way, in case you want to try out this tool Passive, which I highly recommend, they have a free version. You could try it out. They also have an elite version, which comes free if you're a Questrade Plus client. So the elite membership is only $99 a year if you want to unlock additional features. But if you use my affiliate link code, you could get 50% off. You could get $50 off pretty much the elite membership. And even if you want to start, you want to try the free version, use my link anyway, because then if you upgrade, if you decide to upgrade, you'll still get that 50% off. So what we'll do now is go over my entire portfolio, the moves, buys and sells of the month, all the income that I'm receiving. But first, a very important disclosure that this is not financial advice. I am not a licensed financial advisor. This video is only for educational and entertainment purposes only. Very, very important, okay? Not financial advice. So I'm gonna show you the whole breakdown in Excel. It might be a little bit small for your screen, so you could download it for free and follow along on our website, passiveincomeinvesting.ca. Click on free tools here at the top. The very first download, click on this red box, will be the sheet that I'm about to share with you right now. But before we do that, I'd like to thank the sponsor of the video of this series, a good friend of the channel, Hamilton ETFs, who have HYLD and HDIV as some of my personal favorite ETFs. All-in-one solutions. HYLD focuses on the US market, HDIV focuses a little bit more on the Canadian market, and the total returns have been astounding. Honestly, I gotta show you this. If we do HYLD versus VSP, the Vanguard S&P 500 hedged to the Canadian dollar, I'm doing it versus VSP and not VFV because HYLD is hedged to the Canadian dollar. Since January 1st, 2024, which is the approximate date, it's actually a bit later than that, where HYLD became HYLD 2.0, right, and kicked out all those third-party funds and took everything in-house. You see that with dividends reinvested and dividends not reinvested, they're still counting them. HYLD is outperforming VSP. It's outperforming the S&P 500. So you could see here that technically it has more total return, more growth on drip versus the S&P 500. A covered call ETF, by the way. And HDIV is really doing well as well. If we just do HDIV versus, let's just say, the VFV, the S&P 500, since that time frame, it's also outperforming VFV. So there you go, another covered call ETF from Hamilton, all in one, outperforming with dividends reinvested VFV, right? The S&P 500. It's absolutely incredible. So in case you didn't know, they recently came out with 3 brand new covered call ETFs. The first ones in Canada that have a 0 DTE strategy, C Day, S Day, and Q Day. If you want to learn about them, they have very high yield, very unique strategy. I highly recommend you check them out. And I did a Q&A with the head of options at Hamilton ETFs right here. It's the first video, which has over 14,000 views. I highly recommend you check it out if you want to learn more about these Daymax ETFs. All right, so once again, thank you to Hamilton for being a good friend of the channel. Let's go through the portfolio now, everyone. So lots of changes, lots of things to talk about. And I will remove my face because I don't want to block anything. So let's go through the buys and sells of the month. So the biggest thing I did this month, and by the way, you could click on main portfolio tracker tab at the bottom to see what I've done. And again, if it's too small, just download it on my website, follow along. So I decided to sell off my entire USCL position. This is the Global X S&P 500 enhanced, right? S&P 500 cover calls, 25% leverage. I decided to sell it off and swap it for a bunch of other stuff. So let me just be clear why I did that. It's a very specific reason, or a couple of reasons. Number one, to be completely honest, I think the S&P 500 is actually quite boring, in my opinion. Many of you are going to be like, what are you talking about? But I just feel it's boring, and I think it has nothing to do with the performance or the ETF. The ETF, the performance has been incredible. It's actually keeping up very well with VFV. If you look at the total returns versus VFV starting January 1st, 2024, it's pretty much in line. So why did I do it? Well, I'm a firm believer that I think technology is the future. I think more and more capital, wealth, and returns are going to come from the technology sector. So because they also have QQCL, I think the NASDAQ 100 index, kind of like a baseline index, I'm okay with that one long term, just having the NASDAQ 100. So a big chunk of that went, $100,000 of that, 280 went to QQCL. Okay, that just should dispel any rumors that the fund is not good or I don't like it. QQCL is the exact same thing, exact same strategy, exact same people and everything, except it's the NASDAQ 100 index. I just have more, I think, because I'm going to be buying and holding this forever, I think QQCL is just a better bet. It has a little bit higher yield, a little bit more volatility as well. So a big chunk of it, the main chunk of it here, went into QQCL. And by the way, by selling USCL, I realized an $8,971 capital gain. I did not do it to realize the capital gain. That's just the byproduct. I'm still a buy and hold investor, right? I have a video actually called "What Happened to Buy and Hold, Adrian?" Well, you could watch that video for my mindset, but this is more like portfolio modification. I didn't sell USCL for a profit, but I did get an $89.71 profit, and that's not counting any of the income. So I made a crap load of money with USCL throughout the last year. So 100,000 into QQCL, right? Very simple. 20K went into HYLD. This is more because, I kind of still want maybe a concentrated S&P 500. That's okay. HYLD is not exactly the S&P. It's a little bit more concentrated. But it was mostly because I had 180 in HYLD and I have OCD, so I had to get it to 200. That's basically it, just a small portion. 50K in GLCL. So I introduced a new position in my portfolio, a gold related position. Gold has been on the tear lately. Yes, I still believe in Bitcoin more than gold, but I think it's a good idea to have a little bit of gold in my portfolio. And you guys know me. The only thing I'm going to be adding here is if it has covered calls and 25% leverage. So GLCL is actually a very recent ETF by Global X. It's the 25% leverage version of GLCC. This is the first leveraged and covered call gold producer ETF in Canada. No one else has this, right? It's CI. Hamilton has one. Obviously, there's GLCC. None of those had leverage. This is the first one that actually has covered calls and leverage. You guys know that's the format I like. So I decided to put 50K in here, which seems like a lot, but it's only 2.29% of the portfolio. And I actually put it in my Bitcoin section. So now it's Bitcoin and gold positions, because for me, it's kind of like the same function. It's kind of like physical gold versus digital gold. But of course, I'm always going to be skewing more towards Bitcoin. And to prove it to you, another portion, well, let's just talk about Biggie first. So Evolve came out with Biggie, and I put 50,000 or started a new position in Biggie, which we'll discuss in a second. I have the 10 stocks here. But the reason why I said, okay, now I'm comfortable starting a position in there is because I read, actually, I'll show you. So at first I was very hesitant because it said 100% covered calls. But then when I look at the form here, or the pamphlet for their ultra yield, which is going to be a Canadian one called Maple coming out, I saw this. Covered calls will use to enhance the income on around 50% of the portfolio. So once I saw that, that gave me the green light, because I don't want to invest in anything that has 100% covered calls. We need max 50%. So it looks like Evolve is sticking with that max 50% as well. They do that on QQQY ETF. So very interesting, right? The second one after BMAX that has 33% leverage. So I started a 50K position in that as well. So there's 100K, right? 50 and 50 from the USCL. So 100 in QQCL, 50 in GLCL, 50 in Biggie, which of course, Biggie, QQCL, a little bit more risky than the S&P 500, if you will, but I'm okay with that. Gold, the GLCL, I just wanted to introduce that in my portfolio. It's been doing really well. You have reserves, government reserve, all around the world buying more and more gold. The confidence in the dollar is going down. So I just think it's a good long-term play, but it's just going to be a little bit. And gold typically goes down when the market does really, really well. So this could be something to put my money into if, for example, the market's on a tear and gold is down. Well, maybe I could average down GLCL. So it's always good to have a little bit, I think. And then 60,000 went in HBTE and HBIC. So I also wanted to increase my Bitcoin exposure as well. So 40,000 went in HBTE. That's been kicking ass lately. It's Bitcoin related companies, strategies there, Galaxy, Block, Coinbase, a bunch of other ones. It's doing really, really well. So I had to increase that one as well here, 40K. And I added 20K also to HBIX, which is just your basic Bitcoin, right? So altogether right now, I have 25.5% in Bitcoin and gold, which is one of my objectives here. I bumped it up to 25%, but I said Bitcoin and gold exposure. I'm very comfortable with 25%. Would even be comfortable with a little bit more than that, but that's just me, guys. That's just me. Okay, and then so that's basically the swap out of USCL. Again, guys, USCL, amazing fund, amazing core position. You could buy and hold forever. S&P 500, cover calls, 25% leverage, monthly distributions. It's doing really, really well. Nothing wrong with it. Just for me, I'm okay to not have it and to take a little bit more risk. That's just me, okay? Then my normal buys for the month is 20K in MSTE. So of course I've been saying I'm going to be investing at least $10,000 in MSTE. I think it's very undervalued now. It's definitely the most undervalued out of the 3 Bitcoin positions. Obviously I'm down in it. You see my book cost is $15.18. It's about $12. Again, I have conviction in MSTR stock. An investment in MSTE is an investment in MSTR. If you don't know what MSTR is, what it does, how it works, you should not be investing in MSTE. Just because it has 40% yield, 50% yield, or MISTI that has more, doesn't matter. If you don't know what you're investing in, if you don't have the conviction, especially in a single stock covered call ETF, I think that's very irresponsible. I've watched the whole latest presentation of MSTR, guys. I know what's going on. I know the mindset. I know what they're doing. To me, this is leveraged or amplified Bitcoin for the long term. It's disconnected a little bit lately. It's underperformed Bitcoin, which means a great time to buy. And here's another promise. If it's still in the 12, 13, you know what? I'll just make it now. I don't care what price it is. $10,000 is going in next month again. And probably for the next couple of months, maybe even forever, guys. All right? I have the conviction. Only do it if you have the conviction. So MSTE at 200,000, average it down a little bit to 15.18. Here's the yield based on a 55 cent a month distribution. Volatility spiked up a bit. Now it's in the mid 50s. So maybe they'll have to reduce it again a little bit. I trust Harvest 100% for the distribution policy. And last but not least, I decided to add LBS as a position or a secondary opportunistic position exclusively in the TFSAs. So I'm sure I don't want to go through it in detail, but I'm a non-resident in Canada, which means I always try to look for things that only give capital gains in ROC in my biggest account by far, the joint cash account. So LBS, because it has Canadian financials, sometimes it does have eligible dividends. It has a lot of ROC and capital gains, but sometimes it has eligible dividends. Also, it's going to be a minor position, so I have it exclusively in my TFSA. And by the way, If you want to know what I have in my TFSA versus cash account, all you have to do is unhide these columns, guys, and you'll see exactly what I have in my TFSA versus my non-reg. Okay, remember that I'm a non-resident of Canada. I've explained my tax situation in then many other videos, so I won't get into it here. And by the way, the frequently asked questions that I get, like, how much do I reinvest? I'll put the video links in the video description below so you guys could check out that video. I have another video that talks about my tracking, my structure, my taxes, my strategy, but it's a little bit outdated. I'll make a new one and I'll add them in the video description for all monthly portfolio unveils going forward. Okay, so where were we? Oh yeah. I'm slobbering on myself here. Why did I get back into LBS? Why am I back into split fund? The answer is very simple. I cannot ignore anymore the massive discounts to NAV that some of these split funds have. Another thing is I think Brompton is the best split fund manager. I think they're better than Quadravest, my opinion. Total returns speak for themselves. I think Middlefield's good too, but they have very specific, sector-specific ones. So I was actually contemplating, shouldn't I just get the Class A ETF instead, the all-in-one? It was actually very close. I was about to get it because Class A has a bunch of split funds, which a lot of them are trading at discounts. But because Class A has a lot of Quadravest ones, I said, you know what, forget it. I'm going to hunt my own based on discount to NAV. And LBS is one of the highest ones. It's their biggest and most popular split fund. It's almost at $1 billion. It has quality Canadian financials, right? The 6 banks. And check out this discount. When I bought it, it was a 13% discount to NAV. I bought some at 10 something. Look at the net asset value, 11.59. That means you're buying something for 10.20 that's worth 11.59. It's absolutely insane. Even SBC has a big discount right now as well. GDV has a smaller one now. It's about 6%, 7%. By the way, if you're interested to know, every week I do a weekly opportunity report where I report on the Brompton and Middlefield split funds to tell you what are the discount or premiums to NAV. If you're interested in that, that comes every week as a report for Inner Circle members. Hit that little join button, be part of the Inner Circle to get that weekly report. But I honestly see myself investing in LBS every month going forward, a couple thousand from the TFSA only. My TFSA right now is generating about $4,500. So I could see myself investing, $2,000, $3,000, maybe $4,000 next month as well if the double-digit discounts continue. I mean, it's irresponsible for me not to ignore this any longer. So I added LBS in there. I think Brompton's a fantastic split fund manager. I think they're the best. LBS is their top split fund. The performance has been phenomenal. You could go back a long time. It's been out for more than 10 years, and the discount is just too crazy to ignore. And, a little bit of Canada back in the portfolio, or what I think is the best of Canada, which are the financials, is back in the portfolio. So did I talk about everything? Yeah, I talked about everything. So that's it for the buys and changes for the month, everyone. So again, I just want to make this very, very, very clear. USCL, nothing wrong with it. Okay, if there was something wrong with it, would I have put it in QQCL, the exact same company and strategy? I don't think so. I'm okay with actually having the NASDAQ 100 kind of as a big baseline core position. So now what do I have? I have HYLD and SDA, right? These are 300,000. And by the way, I would, if SDA eventually gets added in HYLD as a prime position of a 10-15% position, maybe I'll swap my SDA into HYLD as well, even less to babysit, if you will. That's a possibility. We'll see what happens. But HYLD and SDA, I would still consider them kind of like S&P 500, a lot less than what I used to have in terms of S&P. And that's okay. Massive chunk in QQCL here, 23% my overall portfolio. QDay is, to me, a fantastic one, kind of like a nice complement to QQCL, more concentrated in tech. Technically, they have QQQM in there. They have the NASDAQ 100, but I think it's more tech-focused. It moves pretty much in tandem with QQCL. So I kind of see these two as a unit. I see QQCL and QDay as a unit. Of course, the beloved HHIS, which, I always like adding an extra 10,000 every month. I think it's kind of like a concentrated NASDAQ with some Bitcoin. They came out with 5 new ones, right? Circle, Reddit, SoFi, JP Morgan, and I forgot the other one. I always do. But we'll see what happens if they keep it at 15. I think maybe they'll kick out Costco. They'll put Circle or Reddit in there. We'll see what happens. And hey, it's possible HHIS increases dividend as well. We'll see what happens. The distribution, rather. Sorry. We'll see what happens. And Biggie, new position, 10 stocks. Very easy, guys. It's the Magnificent Seven plus Palantir, Coinbase, and Strategy. So obviously, the management fee is the same as HHIS, essentially. I think they came out with it to compete with HHIS. It's a little bit even more concentrated. It has 33% leverage, which I think is cool. We'll see what happens. And the yield is started at 30%. So, and they also have 2 distributions a month. I personally don't really care about that, but they have 2 distributions a month instead of 1. So yeah, we'll see what happens. $50,000 position. Again, very similar to HHIS. I consider it a concentrated NASDAQ, if you will. So I guess you could say these two are a unit as well, I consider. And of course, you have the Bitcoin positions, which I'm very, very still bullish on long term with MSTE, right? MSTR stock, HBT, Bitcoin companies, and then just the simple Bitcoin. And now I have the gold producers. And by the way, you know, the gold, there's no gold with covered calls and 25% leverage. Global X has HGY, which is gold with covered calls, max 33%. But no leverage rather. But it's just, that would be even so freaking boring. I don't think I would even get it if they have a leverage version. I'm okay just having the gold producers. And GLCL is simply the only one that has the leverage, and a little bit of LBS now. So here you could see my book cost versus my portfolio value. Where do I get my portfolio value in passive? Right here. So it's still live. It's about 2.1. It's just under 2.2 million. What do I care? I have it at 2.19 here. So technically I am up 1.49% overall. That's just that's unrealized, and that's just my capital. It's not including the income. Not including the income. Not including the income. Okay. If we scroll to the left, you'll see all the realized income and capital gains that I realized. So the capital gains has increased because I realized the capital gain on USCL. So I'm actually up 96.77. Not that I care about that in terms of realized capital gains, but check out the income gross, guys. $263,000 of passive income this year. Again, you're not going to see that part of this here. This is just the capital, but you see that here. So this is just the total income, total capital gains realized throughout all those years on the left there. And this is just that number together. In terms of yield, it's now 21.26. Obviously, that USCL merge or swap has increased my yield substantially because, you know, I went into QQCL and GLC. Well, GLCL actually has a lower yield. They'll probably increase it, but a lot of it also went into the Bitcoin and stuff and Biggie, which has a higher yield. So overall, my yield is at 21.26. Here's the annual income, gross, monthly, with the 25% withholding tax, my expected refund, which I'm basically calculating, okay, how much of the income being generated in my cash account is going to be capital gains or ROC. I just take, that's the number. So I basically am going to get most of that, if not all of it back. Next year, monthly net, you see that it is growing over time throughout the months. I'm at 38,196 net a month here. And you can see the portion that's coming from the TFSA versus the cash account. So again, guys, if you're download passive for portfolio organization, there's also Stock Unlock. I use this to check out. It's really cool if you like to track your income. This is a very cool tool. I have an affiliate link for that as well below, where you get 10% off their plan. Blossom, follow my portfolio live. You want to follow this portfolio live every single day to see how it's doing? Download Blossom. You don't even need to download it on your phone now. I'm just hitting at 35,000 followers. Thank you very much. This is updated very frequently, so I'm actually going to do the updates right now as I finished filming this video here. So make sure to follow me on Blossom. The link is in the video description below. Make sure to look in the video description, guys. I have all the affiliate links. The one-on-one coaching session information is there. Everything is there. Don't forget to check the video description below for everything. And by the way, if you want to follow my parents' portfolio, my grandparents' portfolios, who are all in on covered call ETFs, who are all in on PII, you got to be a PII Inner Circle member. It's very, very cheap, guys. Trust me, it's well worth it. If you're a little bit scared of investing, you want to see my parents and what they're doing in their RIF and their TFSAs and my grandparents' TFSAs and their non-registered account, I unveil my parents, my family members' portfolio every single month on this channel. So make sure to become a member. It's very cheap, and you click that little join button to get the information and become a member. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. Meet me at the Blossom event. I'm going to the Montreal and Toronto Blossom events. There are still tickets available for Toronto and Montreal. You have the dates here. Eventbrite.ca is the website. Just search for Blossom and use Adriano15 as a promo code to get 15% off. Again, I'll be at the Montreal and Toronto event. So see you there. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care and see you next time.